Can I tell you something? If I was looking for a relationship therapist, I would want to go to a man. But I have alternative. There's a reason.
Just want to pick their brain and. No.
What I never want to happen is if that me and my spouse are having a feud and we discuss it in therapy. I never want him to be able to use the excuse of, well, y'all just don't understand. Y'all just no. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna eliminate that.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to a man. A black male if we can find it, but honestly, in this case, they don't have to be black necessarily.
Yeah.
And you still gonna be wrong. I'm gonna be honest.
He's still gonna show you.
I pick and choose my battles, and it ain't gonna be a battle if I don't feel like I'm right. So you're still gonna be wrong. But now you can't use that as an
You can't say it's no. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Eboni
and Megan,
and you're listening or watching High Functioning Mess Podcast. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
We here.
We is back. Functioning Mess this week. How have you been?
I mean, I've been fine. The world has just been moving around me.
Yeah.
That's what it's felt like.
Yeah.
I just feel like an observer.
Things are just happening.
Sometimes stuff feels like a dream where you're just experiencing it, but you're not really partaking in things, and that's what this has been like. Also, because of Rona, it's been a lot more like news watch and things that I don't do regularly.
Right.
Like I purposely don't watch the news. I purposely steer clear, but I have to educate myself. So that even more so gives me the feel of like not living my life and just kind of experiencing it.
Right.
A necessary evil. What about you?
If we had recorded on Friday, I would have been like functioning. Okay. And then Friday happened, and now we're here. So I was functioning until this weekend. I mean, I was functioning. I had a great.
Yeah.
I was quarantined. Not really, but just hung out with my friends for like 48 hours straight.
Social quarantine.
Great time. So. But yeah, I'm here. It's been okay. I'm still working. Right. Clients are still coming to therapy. That's next week. I actually have. I'm gonna block. If I get one more, I probably should go ahead and block it off because people are coming.
Because they want to talk.
Right. It's getting busy.
They need to talk about the Rona.
The Rona. So I'm trying to, and I need to decide if I'm going to, which we talked about a little bit earlier. If I'm going to try to transition. I do online therapy already, and I have quite a few clients that like take advantage of it, but a lot of people like to come in and talk.
Yeah. So
I have to decide what's best for society as far as like if we need to do video or.
I guess since we found out that black people can get it.
Oops. Somebody was like, black people are immune. I was like, wait, what? Who said this? Who decided this?
We like to think we superheroes.
We think we got all the things.
We the chosen one. So yeah, you chose it, all right.
Right. So
I've always wanted to ask you, do you see more individual patients or couples?
Right now, it's probably 50-50. Typically, I see more couples. My practice is usually like 80% couples, 20% individuals, but I've actually had like an uptick of individuals, an uptick of black male.
Yes!
Which I love.
Yes, black men.
I absolutely love when I have black men come see me.
That's great.
It's my favorite. I mean, I like working with black women too.
I wonder if anybody I know comes to see you. Guess I'll never find out, eh?
You will never know. But yeah, so I do. I have, it's about 50-50 now. But I only have so many, like my client list. I don't have like a lot of clients.
You don't need a lot.
Very purposely, yes, set my price at the place it is, so I don't have to see like 20 people a week because mentally I wouldn't be able to.
You smart.
Yep.
So do you see? Last question. Neither here nor there. I mean, it has nothing to do with anything. So what about if you see a couple and then? Do you see them separately?
So I do it a few ways. So anytime I work with a couple, I always, well, not always, because some people don't like to do this, which is a whole other thing. But I always try to have at least one session individually.
Okay.
Because I really think it's important that I'm able to talk to you without your partner.
Space.
Exactly. So that if there are things that I need to know to help y'all, you can actually tell me.
Right.
If you're coming to therapy, like I need to figure out how to break up with this person, I need to know that so that I'm not blindsided. So yeah, I always have at least one session. Then what I'll do is, that's typically, we do the intake session and then we do the individual. Then after we do like about 4 sessions, then I'll say like, if I see things that may be blocking the relationship or causing issues, then I'll here and there offer like, we need to do an individual session. And I always keep it equal. I don't see one person more than the other person.
It reminds me of, you probably never watched this on, I have a broken nail and it's bothering me. I'm going to get it fixed. I texted my nail girl. She's busy. Okay. She's booked and busy. What was the show? It came on HBO. It was the best show.
With the guy that was a therapist.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a very known show. It's got Meryl Streep was in this last season.
Oh, Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies, where the wife was going and the therapist called on, or like she told the therapist that she was being abused. And it makes me think about that. Like, it would be nice to be able to say privately, like, this is, or if you figure out, you may not necessarily be able to figure that out if you're seeing someone only in a couple settings.
Especially, and I do that because people play out the same dynamic they do at home in therapy office, which a lot of times I'm like, hey guys, y'all are paying me to watch y'all do what y'all do at home, or do y'all want to do something different? Because I'll do either one. But
you can get results, I'm sure, from either way.
Right. So they play out the same dynamic. So if one person is more overbearing and takes hold of the sessions, then I'm very cognizant of that and like, okay, we need to do something different.
I'm sure that happens all the time.
Definitely.
And I'm sure it's
but then they end up getting frustrated with me because
it's male or female.
Yeah.
Both people I'm sure have that issue.
And they get frustrated because to me, the what is it, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, whatever. Is that how that goes?
I don't know things.
Okay. But because of that and because of the way I do therapy, if you come and you're the one that's talking the most, I'm going to just hone in on you. And we're going to work on your stuff then. Like, it's not you come in and you complain about this person and I'm going to fix that person. Okay, well, you're the person that clearly has the issue, so let's talk about your stuff.
Why is that a trigger for you?
Right.
Well, I need you to talk to... No, but why is that a trigger for you? That's a you thing.
Right. Yep, and people get frustrated very much so. So it's kind of like, I think it kind of makes them be like, okay, let me maybe reel it back in a little bit.
With children as well. If you have 2 kids and they're always going, you got one that's a tattletale all the time. Well, what did you do to make her hit you? Okay, that's probably not a good thing to say.
But it's how are you contributing to this dynamic?
Right.
It can't always be the other person. So yeah. I could talk about this all day, so I know people aren't necessarily here to discuss my practice, but I love what I do.
But go to therapy, y'all.
Yeah.
Relationship, couple, individual, single,
all of
solo.
All of it's available, and it's
if you're in a polyamorous relationship, the 3-4 of y'all need to go.
Yeah, I have worked with couples that are in open relationships and all that stuff, and we figure it out. So
everybody need help.
It's a tool. It's a good tool, a resource to have. I need to go back to therapy, because I haven't been since last year. Was it last year? Or maybe a year before? I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of my therapist. She was great.
Okay, Dr. B.
I can't go to her. This is my struggle in finding a therapist because I work with so many, like, they're my colleagues. And so it becomes, like, weird.
You don't know her?
I don't know her.
So you can't go to her because I go to her?
I can't go with her because everybody goes to her.
No.
Yes.
Only me and Weeks go to her.
No.
At this point. They've gone to her.
Oh.
We're the 2 that go to her.
My friend goes to her as well. She does it now.
She still goes.
Well, when she comes to town, she'll go see her.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. That makes me so happy. I love my therapist.
So, yeah.
And I'm the reason why Eboni
exactly.
Sorry.
So I would prefer not to. But I'll find one. The problem, and also the other issue, which is what I told you in the past, since my other business is melanin and mental health, and so it's all about like Black and brown therapists.
Oh, you run into all of them.
I know a lot of them, and if I don't, I'm kind of confused.
She saw one of your events one time and was meaning to go, but something came up and she couldn't go.
And I'm always like, why aren't you at our events, or why aren't you on our directory? Like, so I feel like that'll be a thing, but then technically that's my business, so it's weird for me to
maybe find somebody online in Dallas that is not in the same circle.
That's true. I mean, regardless,
video.
I just don't need to. I don't think I can work with a Black therapist, which sucks because I want to work with a Black therapist. Right. My last therapist was she was Hispanic. They gotta be a minority. Okay. It's a couple like Indian therapists that I'm looking at possibly going to go see.
Okay. I say Hispanic. That's a good lane.
Yeah, but our director is for Black and Latinx.
Yeah, but still.
But yeah.
You're gonna be less pushy with them, not being your director, and you're like, okay, I guess.
That's Elisa. Elisa will take care of this. Anyways, all of this that y'all don't care about.
When are we going to Katie?
Oh,
now that things have come back down.
Yes. You want to go? What you done after your hair appointment?
I don't know. Well, I'm scared to book anything that.
Okay. You don't know how long it's gonna take. Okay, we'll figure it out. We do need to do that.
But if we do it late enough, also I need pricing. So get that
55.
That's really good.
First session is 55.
I'm excited.
I think it's normally like 65.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really
Elisa was like she needs to raise her prices ASAP.
Yeah, let's go before she does that.
Yeah. Because it was 45.
Know your worth, but find out after I start coming out.
It was 45 for the first session, but she raised that up to 55. But yeah. So, yes, we're getting massages. By the way, like I feel like.
But they're special massages.
Not like.
Oh wait, not that though. Not that kind of special.
Not that type.
Not that. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry,
they're special massages. WTF is going on?
In life, just out here,
just living life.
I've been watching a lot of B. Simone vlogs. She has a vlog channel, and they do, who Joanne the Scammer is?
Mm-hmm.
And so they mock her a lot. And
okay.
So I've been talking like that in real life, and I need to calm down and just be a regular person. But nothing has been going on. Life has been really chill. I mean, I feel, which is not true though. Like it is, but I've also been more social than normal and more. I just been trying to be a better friend.
Mm-hmm.
Been trying to be better to myself and work out more.
That's good.
But nothing substantial is going on. Hopefully I have a job next week. This war in Russia is affecting the oil and gas industry.
Okay.
So if not, we're going to start a Patreon or, GoFundMe so I can pay my rent.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of not. Hopefully, everything will
WTF is going on with you. The opposite issue where
right.
your job is not in
It's so weird because I did expect it to be, less. I thought people were like, oh, well, with all this stuff going on, let's like kind of back up. They come in.
I think people feel like they needed more.
Calling. Yeah, I guess so. So work is going well. It's going really well. That's all I got. Nothing else. Hanging out with my friends way too much as I always do. My friends truly are though like my I work and I play and like that's like my safe place. It's kind of like I say that I used to call it. I don't know if I said it was my self-care, but something like that. Like me being around other people or being around my friends is how I kind of like release and like chill and relax. Especially because I don't typically see them a lot like during the week or anything like that. So
that's relative.
During the week, we talked about that. I don't do things Monday through Thursday. Yeah. So
do you plan to start dating again? Okay.
All right, so takeaway from last week, we talked about code switching. Anything stuck out?
I did a poll on Instagram.
Okay.
Did you see that?
No. On which one? On High Function Mess or yours?
Oh, mine.
You are turning your Instagram into a High Function. I was like, all of her posts.
Because I only posted to my story, like social stuff. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah.
Even selfies or whatever, because I'm like, people don't want to come to my page and see all selfies, so I only do those on my story. And so now, the only time I post is Melanin Mental Health. Nope. No, I don't. I am not affiliated with. I am not a professional.
Thanks for the shout out.
High Functioning Mess.
Okay.
But yes, I did it on there, and I asked if people code switch, and it was a resounding yes.
Yeah. I like that. I feel like there's so much more. Obviously, we always have so much more we can talk about when it comes to those topics. But I just really appreciate being in a space where I get to be my authentic self at work.
I went to therapy on Friday. I walked in, and first of all, my therapist is always cute, always. But she's always extremely professional. She dresses like she goes to corporate 9 to 5.
Oh, okay.
I went on Friday. She had on some cut up jeans and a pink blouse and some shoes, to like floral shoes. I said, must be so nice to wear for yourself. She said it is. Especially in a time like this where I determine whether or not but I was just like, and I've never had the like entrepreneurial spirit. You and I have talked about this. Y'all don't know this, but I'm a Capricorn. I like stability, which corporate America ain't stable. Like, I don't know why I keep repeating that, but I just like to know that my 401k is being matched. That's all I'm saying. But it's been more and more like the last 3 years. I'm like, if I could pay myself a salary. Yeah. Man, listen.
It's addictive. Once it starts, when you see other people doing it, I think that gives that kind of like, no?
For me, it would be, for example, one of my closest friends that lives here, who does hair. She has a bachelor's, a master's, and was working in her field. And she's like, I really want to do hair. She's like, you know what? I'm going to save up 3 months worth of, or actually she saved up 6 months. Okay. She's really good with her finances. I'm going to save up 6 months worth of my bills. Once I get that, if I can get to that, then I'll quit and I'll work for myself. If it don't work out, I have my degrees to
always go back.
The girl's been booked and busy ever since then. She can't not work. It's impossible. And she also stays abreast of hairstyles and like whatever. Training, so she makes sure that she offers classes and does everything. That it's not just seeing other people do it. It's seeing other people do it and be successful. Able to pay their bills. Because it's a lot of hopefuls. And I want to get past the struggle stage. I don't want to participate in the struggle.
You got to be a part of it.
I don't want to. Nope. That's not. No, thank you.
You can prepare for it.
Which is what she.
A lot of people like it's a lot of people that keep their full-time job while they're going,
and that just sounds stressful.
It is, but it's also, it depends on if you like your job or not, right? Like the what is her name? Anise, somebody, the girl that sings. She's based here in Houston. She sings.
Lenise.
Okay, that's her name. She has a full-time job, but she loves her job. She's a jingle writer.
Lanaya Anise.
I
had them switch.
Okay, I would have been like, sure. But yeah, she has a full-time job, but she loves her job. And so her job is basically her doing the same thing she's doing.
What's she do?
She's a jingle writer.
Oh, that's what she does. She loves her job.
She loves her job. Yeah. And so she is like out here doing songs and features, has a whole album, or I think an EP maybe, whatever that is. Did we discuss that before? Anyways.
That she has an EP?
No, I feel like there was a discussion about what is an EP, but
no. You wouldn't have discussed it with me because I don't know.
Okay.
That's a Brandon question.
Okay, I don't know either.
He's the one that's going to be able to explain it. So.
But anyways, but she's doing all this stuff, has sponsored, gets paid for her Instagram, and she's like, but I'm going to get this full-time job though, because it pays the bills, and I do enjoy it. It's not like something I hate. And they love that she has her own following, and they're not like, you got to pick one or anything like that. So
that's really good at what she does.
She's really, really good.
One day I went down a rabbit hole on her page, and I'm certain at this point I watched every single thing, even since before I was following her. It's so clever.
Yeah. No, she's smart.
But her favorite person is Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. I do.
Jamie, when you think about the show and he was a jingle writer, it's a skill set.
And I think her job is what pushed her to be able to do what she's doing. Yeah, and so she's like, I'm going to stay here until I can't no more. Like,
it's just, it's so witty. I love it. I love her.
Yeah. So, you could do both, but it can be stressful, definitely. But a lot of people do that in the beginning. They don't just jump right into entrepreneurship.
Sorry. Maybe it is Lenise, because she calls her people annihilators.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it is Anaya.
I would believe anything you tell me.
I would go with that.
Why are we talking about entrepreneurship?
Because
authentic
work.
Being authentic.
Being able to only have to depend on yourself. Or you make the rules, you make the dress code. You could tell yourself if you're allowed to wear natural hair or not. I don't need nobody else telling me that.
It is great. It is, So I appreciate it a lot more, because I did feel like before I was like struggling with this whole professionalism thing, and now it's kind of like I'm who I am and my clients love me.
The thing is, there's a market for every genre. So like when we were talking about the straight hair versus natural hair professional photos. Yeah. There are people that specifically look for natural hair therapy.
I'm sure.
I need you to go through the same thing that I went through, and I need to be able to connect to you.
Because we talk about natural hair and therapy. I've had clients they're complaining and your hair's everywhere. And she was like, you understand, like, when you do it? I was like, yep, I understand. I get it. Like, we talk about those things. And so.
At least once a quarter. You have to have a conversation.
Right.
I mean, and I struggle with it. Like, I had to explain. So I missed my my training session due to other things that were going on. It was like a low point where I was like, I'm not getting out of the bed at 5:30 in the morning. So he's like, okay, well, I'll see you later on. And I was like, oh no, Friday is my wash day. So no. But and that's a black man. And he's still like, but still, like, come work out.
Sorry, you do not understand. You do not understand.
You don't get it. So I have to go to somebody that gets it. Not that can sympathize or empathize, but that truly gets it because they have lived it. Those are two different things. Even if you want to understand and you want to connect, I applaud you for that, but it's still different.
Yeah.
Same thing. I can't explain to a man what it's like to be a woman. So even though I may value you as a professional, as whatever, I still have to go to a woman therapist because some shit. Hey, I don't want to spend 20 minutes of my time explaining said topic to you because I got to pay for that.
I thought about going to see a male therapist. It's actually a specific therapist. I refer to him all the time. So I thought about going to go see him.
Can I tell you something? If I was looking for a relationship therapist, I would want to go to a man. But I have alternative. There's a reason.
I just want to pick their brain and no.
What I never want to happen is if that me and my spouse are having a feud and we discuss it in therapy. I never want him to be able to use the excuse of, well, y'all just don't understand it. Y'all just no. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna eliminate that.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to a male. A black male if we can find it, but honestly in this case they don't have to be black necessarily. And you still gonna be wrong. I'm gonna be honest. I pick and choose my battles, and it ain't gonna be a battle if I don't feel like I'm right. So you're still gonna be wrong. But now you can't use that as an excuse.
You can't say it's no. Well, yes, I agree. I also have had a lot of couples come see me, and the guys just be like, whatever, you're not gonna get it, da 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 da. And after some time, they're like, oh, no. I guess you're right. Or the wives typically get mad because, like, I've been telling him this, and it's like, yeah, but probably your way of telling him, and you're not a therapist. You're not his therapist. Stop trying to. Hold on.
This is me.
Let me say this real quick to y'all. Stop trying to be whoever's therapist. I'm not my friend's therapist. They tell me stuff. We talk about it. I'm not their therapist. That's not my role in our relationship. My brain works a certain way. Yes, I get that. But I am truly not. I'm not going to be able to say like, well, this is not okay because I try not to do that. I make connections. Therapy is just being knowledgeable and being able to properly express yourself and to help a person realize that they maybe can see this particular situation in a different way. So you still do it with us. It's just very cutthroat and it's just very, Megan, that's trash. Point is, in relationships, your role is not to be that person's therapist. And it can be, I have to watch this with people I date because I am a therapist. I have to be very mindful of that because I understand that just because I'm a therapist doesn't mean they want to come to me for therapy. So they don't necessarily want to hear all of that stuff. They don't want to hear that feedback. They don't want to hear, right. So sometimes, and it's like, I've been telling him this, it's like, what? He didn't want to hear that from you.
Let me tell you something. I have an example that is so not deep that I would like to share. I'm having this discussion with said man. We'll just call him said man. And it's about his stupid dog. And something I've been telling him to try to like socialize the dog. I've been telling him since he got the dog. He won't listen. Then he goes and sees a neighbor who's got this big ass dog that XYZ blah blah blah. She repeats the same exact thing I said about socializing said dog. This Negro says to me, well, I just kind of wanted to, you're also not the first person to tell me that, but I just kind of wanted to hear from somebody that has a dog and has experience. Fuck you in the dog, bruh. I told you this 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating. And that's a trigger for me. That's something I have to work on. I have that and not getting credit, just not getting credit for things in general, where I feel like I've contributed to your life. Can I get my round of applause for that? Can I get a thank you for that? And that's everybody I've ever dated. And I just don't understand. And I realize it's probably my delivery. I'm probably not an easy person to say, oh, you were right too. I think I am. I think I am an easy person. I think I'm like, oh yeah, don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
But apparently I'm not, because nobody does it. Nobody gives me my credit. And I don't like it.
Yeah. But it's because when people are intimate with, we don't necessarily want them.
So what's our role? What are we supposed to do?
You're in a relationship with each other.
That's a part of being in a relationship.
Is it? Fix another person? Because that's what it feels like.
Contributing. Not fixing them. I don't think that they're broken.
Right. But that's what it can feel like, though. If someone that I am not seeking this type of relationship with is now telling me what I should be doing or how I should be doing it.
I know what it is. I value that in a partner. And so I do it a lot because that's what I want
someone to do. Right.
Like, hey, I can't figure out how to do a lot of that. I want that person to come along. Oh, well, have you thought, what about if you did this in this way and then move this around here? Oh, you're so right. Let me try it that way and see what happens. That doesn't bother me. I welcome that.
Yeah.
So I assume that that's what other people want as well. So what do other people want? What else are you here for? If you're not bringing value to my life, I guess value can come in different ways.
Right, and value when I'm asking for it, not just you just telling me.
But they don't ask.
Because they don't want it. When they want it, they will ask.
What don't be asking? If you know stuff, just ask me.
But I think that's important for you to, like, what you're saying about, like, this is how I feel like people bring value to my life, and this is how I want to bring value to other people's lives as well.
So I should ask them, how can another person that you're involved with romantically, what would you consider another person bringing value? Because sometimes it's just listening. Sometimes it's if I've had a long week to just sit and chill and be with you during that week.
And not have to think about that stuff or talk about that stuff.
I just be assuming.
Yeah.
I just be assuming.
Like,
that's why I'm single.
Right. It's the love language thing, right? We always assume that everybody wants love the way we want love, and that's not real life at all.
Got it. Yep. Noted.
Yep.
Well, that brings us straight to the topic.
The topic. We are talking about being a mess because we did not have good examples of healthy relationship, or the examples. I don't know, just didn't have good examples.
Well, how do we word it?
I'm a mess because I didn't have good relationship examples, or examples of a loving relationship.
Girl, I've been reading this one the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that's what we were talking about.
I mean, it is, but I just rewrote it down there.
So let's not even just say I didn't have good examples, but just in a general sense, love is we're repeating whatever that was. So even if it was a quote unquote good example, it's what worked for your parents,
right,
or whatever the example was that you saw your grandparents, your parents, your uncle, and auntie. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to seamlessly transfer into your different generation, different way of dating, different whatever. And
we set those as the expectation in a relationship. So if my dad was like this, right, it has to look like this. This is what that happens so much where it's like,
what is that called? We did a topic about putting people on pedestals, but I thought it had a name. We did it at Rory's house. I remember specifically, it was me, Carl. I was going on a date after I left. I don't know why I remember all these details. At least 2 years ago. I don't know. I thought it was it was interesting. I had never heard it before. I think that's why I retained it.
I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh.
I have no clue.
You talk about it after that as well. Like you bring it up in we'll look it up after.
Self-fulfilling prophecy? No. So you're saying they put you in a box basically?
Well, we have an example that I can't say on here.
Oh, okay.
But the person does it to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. It's holding you to a different standard than everybody else. It's this expectation that you're supposed to fulfill this role for me, but I don't have that for everybody else. That happens a lot to me. I think I want to say because I'm a therapist, but I don't. I think it happened before I was a therapist, though.
Oh, okay.
But it feels. I've had people tell me, "Well, you're a therapist. You should know what to do with this situation." But you're being an asshole. Like, I don't understand what they got to do with me being a therapist. Like,
I have been victim. I think.
Really?
Whereas I give my other friends leniency for maybe saying the wrong thing or not being sensitive to a topic. I don't think I give you that same leniency. For everybody else, it's like, oh, they're human. They're not always going to have the right thing to say. But I don't. You haven't failed me yet.
That's good. That's great because I mess up a lot.
But I need to understand. Well, except for that one time. and you apologized.
Oh, okay. I did apologize.
You clarified, and you're like, hey, I wasn't talking to you in this moment, but my feelings were hurt.
Okay.
And I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, it's Ebony. Why would she say that to me? Like, whole thing.
Yeah.
Whole thing.
That was not.
Anyway, so but just examples, not having the right examples, which I think comes a lot. I know for sure in the men that I've dated that grew up in single parent households. Mm-hmm. Or I've also had, so this is why I wanted to add on.
Okay.
Just that example doesn't transfer over. I've also dated people who grew up in a double parent household. Parents been married for 40 plus years, but you never saw your dad love on your mom.
Right.
Because that to them, different generation, was not appropriate to do things or to be loving in front of kids, or they're slick roommates.
Right. They stay together, but they may not have a healthy
outside babies, whole other families, and also, but all you know is that your parents are still together,
or it was trash, like it was just from bad relationship, but they stayed together.
But they stayed together through.
I've so many stories of people that's like, well, you just stick with them, you just stay, and it's like, no, she stayed or he stayed, but that's not what everybody gets a choice in this.
I don't know, this divorce is not an option.
Yes,
that's a lie.
It is.
I'm always an option. Because if you go upside my head, I'm leaving. How about that? Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
I remember watching, and I feel like we talk about them all the time, but that's because I consume so much of their content. But Kev on Stage and Melissa, and they were saying how once they realized and admitted that no, divorce is an option was when it became better, because like I'm choosing to be here, and I feel like that's a huge thing. Like when you know, like, oh yeah, you could leave, we're not just stuck here, then you have to put effort into it. You have to work for it because you want to be here, not just because you have to be here.
I'm not going to get off topic, so I'm just going to say this sentence and move on. I feel like that way also about family in general. It's not a requirement. Just because we're related by blood, it doesn't mean that. So you still have to choose to be in each other's lives, and you still need to treat me right. I still need to treat you right. We still need to be respectful of each other's boundaries, just because we are family, and that can be mom and pa too. It's not an obligation.
I don't have to be in your life.
I'm my own unique person.
Yep. So, but yeah, so I think we have expectations based on what we saw, what we didn't see. So if like we just said, if they stayed together, even if it was like, that ain't the type of relationship I want per se, but now I've learned that people just stay together, and that's what you're supposed to do. Or if, like you said, if you only had one parent and you didn't have the example of the other person, then you have these beliefs about whichever parent wasn't there or whatever. So it truly does impact how you date and your expectations.
And I think primarily, I'm gonna use this as an example. I don't remember the guy that he don't watch this. I do remember who it was. It's not somebody I know personally. There was an example that a man who was, by all definitions of the word, was successful. He is attractive depending on who you are. Like, I think standard wise, he's attractive. He's attractive to me, but that doesn't mean the next girl he's attractive. Well over 6 figures. He did have a child or two. I can't remember. None of the details are semantics. But, in his maybe early 40s, and was dating a woman who was his same age, and had taken that said woman home to meet his family for the holidays. And it was pointed out that she didn't make his plate. So we're in the South. And he didn't have an issue with it. I don't think he noticed, but his mom pointed it out to him. And it became a whole thing. And the girlfriend is rightfully so, and I'm just a bystander. This is a stranger that's being transparent with me, so I'm trying to let him talk, but he don't know me. And he's explaining that, like, that was an issue. He was like, the fact that my mom saw that, and that, she realized that, of course she wants what's best for her son, and they ain't got no other issues. Y'all was like her enough to bring her home. And she's a guest in your home. Right. In your parents' home. Right. And didn't make your plate. Now, I'm going to do first, and I'm going to take my emotions out of this. My opinion, rather, out of this. The point is, y'all don't see eye to eye on this topic. Right. And that's exactly how I portrayed it to him. I said, let's take out whether I feel or agree or whatever it is. I said, if that's what you feel like is important to you, I think it's important for you to find somebody that also values that. Or vocalize, this is important to me. Do you think that this is something that you can do going forward? Because, and these are the reasons why, right? This makes me feel loved. It makes me feel blah, blah, blah. But to just hold to just have an automatic expectation that this person is supposed to do this because this is what you grew up seeing, is mind blowing to me.
And recognizing, I think that's a big part of those expectations, just like identify where that comes from and why it's important to you. Yeah. Like, is it really important? Because it sounds like it wasn't even that big of a deal to him. So, but now it's become a thing. Say,
does she make your plate? And maybe we did talk about, does she make your plate local? And I think she does, because she cooks and all that. But I think she felt like, well, I'm a guest.
Right.
And first of all, I'm not going to get up in your mama's house.
Right.
That's first and foremost.
Right.
Unless she invites me or asks me, or maybe I'm going to ask, hey, do you need some help? But if I'm not going to get up and he didn't even notice. He didn't even notice. And that's the same thing. I had to let go of opening the door and opening the car doors. And I had to identify that while, yes, that makes me feel special when somebody does it, but to be honest, it's kind of like a cherry on top. But I grew up with my dad opening, in order, opening my stepmom's door and then opening my door, because we get in the car on the same side, opening the door for both of us, for us to walk through. Like that, I grew up in that, but it was never, nobody sat down and told me this is how a man is supposed to, like that.
It's just what you saw.
It was just what I saw. And so, to be honest, and I've been single for so long, going on dates here and there, that the majority of my life, I open up my own gosh darn doors. So there are certain things that, like, if you do it, then I think, and also there's a difference between you doing that and I've never had this happen. Somebody to just open up the door and walk straight through and not even like, some things are are like obvious, but then there are things that are important to me for my own reasons, like taking out the trash and things like that. But I'm gonna be vocal. Right. I'm not gonna assume. I'm gonna see if you do it, and you'll get brownie points if you do.
Definitely.
But I'm also gonna make sure I vocalize.
Yeah, that's something.
Or I'm just gonna ask, hey, you're about to leave my house. Hey, can you take this with you? Let me tell you where the dumpster is. But I'm not. But I'm gonna make sure it's known that that's what I want from you. Right.
I had this similar conversation, and it was with my sister, whatever, my older sister, and this was years ago, but she was saying, if anybody comes in your house, if a guy comes in your house and doesn't take the trash out,
I've heard this a million times.
Yeah, and I was just like, wait, what? Like, and my friends take the trash out like that. They do that. That's not, so I know that that's a thing, but I just would never feel, it wouldn't shift the way I feel about somebody if they came into my house and they did not automatically take the trash out. Like, it just wouldn't cross my mind. Now, I will say, probably if we're dating and we're spending a lot of time together, and like every time you hear and the trash is empty and you stacking stuff on top and it never crosses your mind to, that might be a thing. And I guess, like you said, the solution is, hey, let me talk to you. Let me ask, like, hey, can you do this? I'm stubborn. I probably won't. I'll just take it out myself. But but if it is an issue, then I will talk to you about it. But I don't know. I feel like we have these rules and these expectations that we stick on, and we add value to it and create like this whole thing. Like, if you don't do this, then this must mean that. And it's like, not really. Like, they didn't even
not really, but not at all.
Not at all. They might not have had that as an example growing up.
Or it's just not I naturally, and also you can do something that you think is showing that you like or care about or love this person, and I think about this all the time. I naturally, if I'm at a guy's house, let's say we cooked or we ate or something, right? I came and brought food to go or like whatever. I naturally clear that person's plate, which I grew up doing that. I grew up clearing my dad's plate and like whatever, we talked about that before. And I just kind of clean up behind myself. But I do that because I'm a guest in this person's home, which is less about we're dating. Because I'm trying to think about, do I also do it at my female friend's house? But it's very rare that I probably, the fact that I clean up behind them is a male-female thing. I don't think I would clean up behind you. I love you, but I don't think I'm cleaning behind you. I get that. And it's just like I don't ever want to feel like a burden, or like I left this person's house and it's dirtier than it was before I got there kind of thing. And I could do that thinking like, oh, I did this because I like this person, I care about this person, and they could be like, But I can clean up my own house. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. You
like,
don't have to do that. Right.
I'm a clean person. It's okay. Like, you never know how something could be perceived. And I want to get out of my own head and stop thinking. The biggest thing is like compliments. It's nice to get compliments, and I like them a lot. But I have to stop telling myself that because a person didn't acknowledge like, these brand new shoes that I bought and they so fire, or like whatever, or that I look nice today, doesn't mean that they don't. And it doesn't mean that they don't think it. They may even think it and just not say it. It doesn't mean that they're not attracted to me. It doesn't mean, and none of that really should matter because I feel this way about it. I feel like this outfit was fly before I left the house and I look good. And that's what is most important. But I can think about what's even more, when you talk about where it comes from, what's even more cryptic is like, when I think about my parents, my dad and my stepmom I'm referring to, I have very vivid memories of like just my dad, just them showing love to each other. My dad slapping my mom on the ass, or like them kissing. But it's probably 3 times. But I hold on to it. And I have to sit and remind myself, like, if I really think about it, it's probably very rare that happened. But I held on to it.
But that was like, this is a loving relationship.
That is what love is. They probably argued more than but still in my brain, you remember what you wanted. You selective memory.
Yep.
And so it's like, but they also went through other issues too.
But it's those specific things that, because my mom made my dad's plate every day, every single day, and served it to him. We didn't eat at a table together. He had a tray. She would take the tray. She would take his food. He would sit at the TV and eat every single day. I'm not that person. And probably because of other dynamics within their relationship is why I'm not. I probably won't be that person. I'm okay with making plates. I'm okay. I love to cook for my friends or for people I care about. And that's okay.
But we don't know. I mean, I guess we could ask. But she probably did it just because she enjoyed doing it.
It was just a normal thing for her. It wasn't... I put a lot more on it than probably she did.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I know I did. Because my mom was also the breadwinner in our house, you know. And so in my head, I'm like, I mean, my dad worked. He had his own business. But I'm just saying, like, in my head, I'm like, she just worked all day. He got home before her. And why she coming home and cooking and serving him? Like, what is it? Like, this is feminist Ebony at like 12. Like, I don't understand. Why is it, you know? So I'm just, I am that. I will do that for someone, but I feel like I kind of have to talk myself into it a little bit because I'm like, I'm not going to be subservient and you know, all that stuff. So I have to be very mindful of that. Like, so for me, I saw it, but I took it as a negative thing. And so that makes me not want to do it. And so I have to be kind of mindful of that.
I can see myself taking that and flipping it into something else of like, I don't know. I ain't never been married. Okay. But there are certain things that, like, I say all the time when I define what love is for me is sacrifice. So yes, maybe I'm tired, but I want to do this for this person. And I wouldn't necessarily, maybe I want to feed you, or I love that you love my smothered pork chops or whatever, and so I want to make them for you. I want to whatever. So you just never know the reason. But the point, which is the topic, is observing. Right. And so now, do you find, would it be a negative thing for you? That's the other thing. You should let people want to do what they want to do. It becomes an issue when it's now a requirement. Right. I heard that from somebody. I paraphrased it.
No, that's true. That's because that's where the disappointment sets in. Because if it's not something I naturally do, that means I'm not going to do it right every time. I can do it sometimes because I know it's important to you, and I could try to make an effort, but I'm not going to be perfect with it.
Or even if it's something that I do, not because you've asked me. If I choose to make your plate every time, you don't get to reprimand me.
You don't, right? If I don't
do that.
It's a choice. I had a professor who wrote an article about that, and it was his example was his wife would always go out and get the paper every morning and have it sitting there for when he came to the table. Every morning. Whenever if she missed a day, he like had an attitude. Like he never asked her to do it. It was never anything that was discussed. This is just something she did just because it was convenient. Maybe that day she just forgot, and now he's like all in his emotions and feelings like, how dare you? You must be mad at me. And he's creating this whole scenario, and it's like, nope, just forgot to do it today, or I was busy doing other stuff. But now it's become the requirement. It's become like you need to do this all the time, because if you don't, then it's a problem. So it was a whole article about how we create these expectations, sometimes based out of nothing. Like it's not even like this is something I even cared about before, but now all of a sudden it's become everything within a relationship.
Another point, which this was a real hard pill to swallow, and I don't know if I grasped it completely, but the importance of not falling in love with a person because of the things that they do for you. So I have all these examples of all of these personal examples, but I can also think about like, oh, I love that he, an ex or whatever would do such and such, and such. But you have to ask yourself, okay, but would you still love that person if they stopped doing that? Or if they no longer did that? Or, which also is the dynamic of, insert whatever.
Right.
Them being a provider.
Yeah.
If they lost their job tomorrow, then do you stop loving them?
You don't love
Is your love attached to the fact that they send you flowers every single week without you asking or without you? It's okay to say that makes me feel special.
Right.
But to say that your love is based on that and you're defining love based on that is also troubling and can be a thing. So that's why at the end of the day, anything that I'm connected to is a thought.
Right.
So you can insert whether it's flowers every week, which is expensive and to me a waste of money, or you have this example of old what's it called? I've been drinking. When somebody that you like mentor, an old mentor that I have that I used to work for, and her husband, who is everybody's, if you ever know them, there are goals, and everybody knows that they're goals. I got a whole backstory which I can't tell on here because it ain't my business to tell. But she was giving the example of her life was just, it was a stressful moment, and they were leaving to go out of town the next day, but she's like, oh, I still have to come home. Like, I think I had to wash her daughter's hair or something like that and help her with the project for school. And that's what she was doing. Maybe that's what it was. It was helping her doctor. She was in her daughter's room. And she said, I came back in the bedroom and my entire bag was packed. With she wears the same thing when she travels. Just like a two-piece set that matches. That laid out, and she said, and I'm sure, she didn't say this, but I'm sure, you go through, make sure.
Yeah. Everything's needed.
Just the thought, that costs not $1. So in reality, I realize when I'm naming things or when I talk about things that I want from a person, it all comes back down to the same things that I want to be thought of. I want you to go out of your way to do something that is out of your normal, like whatever. Yeah. But that doesn't always have to cost money. It doesn't always, but I do want to always be thought of. And for me, full circle, because for me, love is defined as sacrifice. It's you getting up in the morning to whatever, get that paper or to get whatever, but it's because you thought about me, is what it always comes down to. And so that is what I love. So if that person stopped thinking about me, I can't honestly say that yes. My love is connected to that, and that's what makes me feel loved. So I probably would feel different.
Yeah, okay. Because that's what, when you said it earlier, I was like, yeah, I see what you're saying, where you don't want the specific action to be. But if we're talking about love languages, and if we're talking about this is what I need to feel loved, then that would impact whether or not I can feel love towards you as well. Yes. So if I'm a person that needs physical touch, if I need physical touch and you don't touch me, that I could probably not
see myself.
Yeah, I can't love you because that's something that makes me feel loved, and so it's difficult to reciprocate it or whatever. But I think that's so important because we have these certain expectations, which is fine. I think the biggest thing is understanding that everybody grew up completely different, and so you can't expect someone to do it the way that you think they should do it because they don't have the same experiences as you. And we do that so much. We have like, well, you should just know. You should just, this is how you show it. And it's like, no, that's how your parents showed it. That's how the people
not even that.
Saw. Right.
Because my brother and I were having a conversation earlier when we were 5 years apart, same mom, same dad. Still a different walk. I was trying to describe a babysitter's house. And he's like, no, but that's not how. Just our vantage point, everything was different. Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. I had the wrong name. Well, we don't know. We haven't fact checked. We need to call my mom and see what her name was. But it's just like, so even that is not the same. Everybody's just so individual and view things so differently. So, but this is why it's important to talk. Like,
it's important to communicate and to make requests.
Well, and first self-evaluate.
True.
You got to start there first, but sometimes those can be done in the same, right? Maybe you don't even realize things until you're having a conversation.
Right. Or things, some things are just difficult to know when you're single, right? It's when you're dating people and when you're... I
have a great article for this that Haley sent today.
Okay. Because it's it's only so much work you can do on yourself by yourself. Like, you have to figure out then in relation to other people. And I think for me, I've said that, I don't know if I've ever said that on like a podcast, but it used to be, I don't know if it's insecurity. I really would like to be in a relationship because I have all of this knowledge and all of this information, and I feel like I've done so much work just around relationships and sex in general and understanding my own stuff and all of that. I really would like to be in a relationship to see if I learned anything. if I can apply all of this information in my, like, I can help people, I can talk about it, I can do all of that stuff. But it's been so long since I've been in a relationship where it's like, I wonder if I would be as thoughtful or you know, whatever when I'm in a relationship, because, you know, anyways.
And to be honest, all of my like self-aware things stemmed from the seed is from somebody else. Even if it's not dating or romantic, it's something that a friend said to me. Or now you have to be conscious enough to go, okay, I realize that I just got mad about that. Why was that a trigger? Right? But it's not just me going through my life on my own by myself.
Definitely.
It comes from an interaction that I've had with another human being. I think you learn more. That's why I continue to date. That's why I try to find value in, you know, situations with people, even if it's like, we ain't gonna end up together. Probably that ain't gonna happen. But what can I learn from this?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Definitely. I mean, you know, that's very true. It's very true. And I most of the time, if I have like a meltdown or whatever is going on, I'm triggered by somebody in my life. And then, like you said, you take that time to be like, okay, why was that such an issue? Right. Why did that turn into such a big deal? But yeah, so it's only so much growth you can do when it comes to certain things by yourself.
That's probably a first tip and tricks, maybe. You can't isolate yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna steal it. I was trying to give it to Ebony, she wasn't really feeling it. I would say that would be mine, is that in order to be aware of what those examples even are, because that's the thing, we don't know that is what it is until you're forced to, until you're challenged by somebody else's thought process and go, oh, you feel like this is my real life one. Y'all heard me talk about it all the time. Ain't gonna be no I'm the sole person in the kitchen cooking. It's just not gonna be there. And that stems from, I grew up in a household where both parents cooked. So whereas that may be super normal to you or a super like that's the wife, I don't view that the same way. I can't change my thought now at 30 because I grew up for 18 years seeing two people cook. And on top of that, a guy who loves cooking, like, you know, so that, I'm sorry, it's not going to change. It is what it is, right? So I would say interacting with other people and not isolating yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you're single, it's okay to be single. I'm not saying you got to smash people. I'm not saying none of that. But interact with other people and be accepting and open of other thought processes and challenging what your vision is of this idealistic relationship that probably don't exist anyway.
Yeah. A big part, which is I guess my tip, is just you get to create the type of relationship that works for both of you. And so coming into the relationship being open and not being like it has to look this way is the most important part, because it's never going to look the exact way. We do attract similar situations. So we do find ourselves kind of dating the same person or having similar dynamics as what we saw maybe growing up. But understanding that we can kind of pick and choose what works for us, and it doesn't have to look exactly like the TV show or the parents that you had or the parents that you didn't have, whatever. Like, it doesn't. So that, to me, is probably the most exciting part about relationships. And that's probably because I really started like working with that in particular since being a therapist. Like, how do we create what works for us as opposed to like what whoever is telling us it's supposed to be, or whatever we believe it's supposed to be. Taking the time to figure it out, but then as you're with someone, okay, see, I used to think this way, but that doesn't work for us, so maybe we need to do it this way. I don't know. I'm a big communicator. I just feel like extremely important is like, let's talk about what we think a relationship is, or let's talk about, hey, we had this fight and you reacted that way, I didn't expect that, like what was that about, let's like have these, or what can we do next time, like you should always be evolving. As humans, we're always evolving, and so your relationship will always evolve. People that have been together for a very long time always say they have been married to different people, right? Yeah. Because people change, and they've had different types of relationships over if you've been with somebody for 30 years, like think about your last 30 years of your life.
At least 3 different people.
Right. So that means we have to be constantly creating and cultivating and curating whatever this life is together, and it's going to change. So if we had an agreement when we first got married, that doesn't mean it sticks for the next 20, 30 years.
You have to allow people room for growth.
Right. And you have to be open to that. Right. And have that conversation. If things aren't working the same way they used to, we need to talk about that and figure out what now works for us now. Mm-hmm. If I was working a 9 to 5 and now I'm an entrepreneur, our whole life is different now. So we need to figure that out, how that works for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if it's something that you think that you want, you may get it and go, oh, this ain't.
Right.
I was watching this comedy special.
That part, what you just said.
About a guy who, he was actually on Love, what's that show called?
Love is Blind?
No, what's the show where they sit down on the couch?
Black Love?
Black Love. Mm-hmm. They were actually a couple on Black Love. Mm-hmm. And he's a comedian. He's a light-skinned guy. I don't know if you watched last season, but he's super light-skinned. His wife is also light-skinned.
The Veil? The
or whatever.
Okay.
And he talked to her kind of funky on there, but you can tell that, that's just their dynamic. And he has a comedy special now that's on Netflix. And he talks about the fact that she's a stay-at-home mom.
We just watched that yesterday.
And the scene where he talks about, it was just so harsh about the fact that she was a stay-at-home mom and he was the breadwinner, and so these were the requirements that he had essentially. Mm-hmm. And the example he gave, which is the difference is if somebody's outside repoing our car and they say we need $500 from you, because he was explaining yes, you're at home and you work, and I understand that, but it's different because if a repo man is outside and they need $500 from us, I can't go. Well, my wife. She works so hard. She's a stay-at-home mom. Let's see if she has the $500. But it's just, and I know, I joke all the time about wanting to be a stay-at-home wife, but I couldn't do it if that was your requirement, and that's how you view things. Yeah, I did understand that knowing where the iron was. I did connect with that because it's this is my job and I want to take it serious. And so if you need something in this household, I run this, so I should know where things are. But again, that's my personal whatever, right? But yeah, I was like, ooh. Maybe being a stay-at-home mom is not what it is.
Right. This doesn't work.
I need a side gig or something, because what you're not going to do is say that you're more important or more valuable than me. Exactly. You bring monetary money home, and that's the whole thing. I've never really wanted to be a stay-at-home. I just don't want to work. Okay, I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I don't want to work traditional. But can our money fund something else that I do? Right. Anyway, right. But that was yours are your tips. So now it's probably time for mine.
Yeah, but you already gave it to. I mean,
we only do one.
You can do more than one. Okay.
I probably do, but I can't think of one.
I think, like you said,
but I think meshing ours together, I think is the perfect. Just being open to what that can look like.
Right. And we do that in other areas of our lives. Like we do that in our friendships, and
I don't think we do though.
No,
I think we are very bound by holding people to standards of holding them to our standards. And I think I have that issue with my stepmom. I have what I feel like a stepmom should be. And she came in and lived her own life. It was her own, she lived up to her own expectations. And so is it that she didn't meet my standards, or is it that she did what she felt was best? So I think there are multiple, that's why we have issues with our friends. Well, they don't never call and invite me anywhere. Well, who's to say? Did you let them know that that's what you need from them? I think we do that as humans. We have these standards and expectations of people, and we don't vocalize them. And it comes from our conditioning. It comes from what we think a good friend is supposed to be, what we think a good business partner is supposed to be. And they're already predetermined. And we come in and then hold the other person to that standard without having a conversation. The only exception I would say is work. Because you know what your job description is. Right. Everything else doesn't come from a job description.
Yeah.
That you have to create that job description.
I guess I feel like we do it because as we go through life, if we're talking about like friendships and parent relationships is different, of course. But if we're talking about like friendships or even family relationships, like we kind of adjust or at some point we're having that conversation, right? So it, like the not inviting, right? At some point it's going to come up that like, I feel a way that I'm not invited. So then we talk about it and then it becomes a thing. You don't think so?
I think we should do better at that. I think we, you know what we do? We talk about it to other people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Checking in.
Yeah. So challenge this month is the 15 minutes daily.
Yeah, you know what? And this is the thing. I just need to add an alarm to my phone. I love this this challenge. It doesn't bother me at all. I just
forget some days.
I'll forget. And I'm thinking about it because I'm laying in the bed with the lights turned off and I was like, oh, I didn't do such and such today. But I think it's also a matter of it becoming a habit too, that like some days I'll do it and not even realize, like,
right.
I clean up behind me as I'm getting ready in the morning, but a deeper clean that I normally I just pick up. And I find myself in the morning time, I'm doing a deeper, but it's not for a standard 15 minutes, which is why I need to add it to my calendar.
Yeah. I do it. I think it's hard to, because it becomes like just, this is just what I'm doing. So I'm trying to be cognizant of like having something specific as opposed to like, so I wash clothes and I need to put those up, right? Like that's something I would
maybe
just
that's
do.
what you could do. Yeah, but all of this is stuff that we would just
I know, but
do.
I guess I'm trying to be more like, I'm trying to not just have it be like, this is your normal everyday thing. It's supposed to be something extra.
Can you think about that prior to?
I have my list. I just
don't go through this whatever over here. Like go through mail.
Yeah.
Think about things that have been like overdue
that
you haven't had a chance to do, and add those literally to your calendar.
I need to do it that way because I feel like I have a list of things. It's like, yes, I want to do these things, but I don't, like you said, I don't think about it. So I'm doing something every day. Like, okay, I need to unload my dishwasher. I need to, whatever.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But it just,
we're going to make a list when we get off of here for both of us. Like, we'll do it together for our separate households. So that, and then Monday through, we're not recording on Friday. But we'll still do it, and I'll text you and check in.
Okay. Yeah. So that's it. But other than that, yeah, it's I like the challenge, and I do think it's helpful to be getting things done and being more productive. And
so
all
we're
of that.
halfway through the month. Have we thought about what our next challenge?
We have not. We have not. We have a list, though. I think we have a list.
Probably. You probably have a list.
There's a list somewhere on here on this computer. But yeah, so we got to do better. I want this to be like more. What's the word? Intentional.
Yes.
Yeah, with the time, with the 15 minutes. So.
Agreed.
How y'all doing? Are y'all trying to do the check-in? I mean, the challenge with us, 15 minutes a day?
I was like, who are you talking to? I'll be forgetting that we were recording sometimes.
We're talking to the people that are watching us right now. Anyway, so that's that. I guess that's all. We got anything else to talk about?
I have a question. Y'all tell us if y'all would participate if we did a live on either YouTube as we're recording or on one of the other platforms. But if we did like a 10-minute live to show you as we're recording, would y'all be interested in seeing that? Just because, why not? Why not? Other than that, no, I don't have a, why?
Because we discussed this, you were like, I don't want to do live. And so now you're like...
I'm going to tell you what I said, but that's not what I said.
That's not what you said?
You wanted to do before, like as we're getting ready.
Oh.
And I'm okay with doing a live as we're recording because they're going to see this anyway.
Okay.
But I slip up at the mouth.
Got
is what Ebony doesn't realize. And I say things that don't need to be on camera. And that's the stuff I don't want to have to be thinking about. Like, oh crap, we're doing a live right now.
So as we're recording,
I mean, we still slip up. We have to delete something out of here this time. Like, we still slip up, but we do it less often when the camera is on.
That's true. All right. Well, let us know.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Follow us, on
all
the stuff, and subscribe and share this with somebody.
Yeah. Tell a friend.
Bye.